So the 1975's next album might, who knows, it's going to be released this year. Title maybe going to be God Has Entered My Body, which, by the way, is the gayest name to come out of the 1975. After, of course, the name Maddie Healy. But that aside, I remember the first time I heard God Has Entered My Body, I was probably on the 1975 subreddit because I be on that subreddit every day. But I remember when I first saw that, I was like, my first thought was, oh, that's a sick album name. Specifically, a sick 1975 album name. Because TBH, I feel like the most underrated 1975 track, which, by the way, we can go on a rant about how I hate the word underrated because no one knows what it means. And is it denoting like the song with the less amount of streams compared to other songs, or is it comparing like what has, the less amount of influence compared to the other tracks on that album? No one knows. So the track that I feel like people don't speak about enough, I like that better, is If I Believe You. And I remember one of the first times I heard that track, I was in college and I was walking to this like 10 a.m. English course I had. And I was just like playing the album and I was walking, and the second that choir came in, I stopped and I was like, oh, I need to sit down with this song. And I remember I was late to class that day because I listened to that song like 3 times in a row. And it's a pretty long song, but I just kept on going. I kept on listening to it over and over again. And as someone that grew up steeped in the Black church, hearing that choir, it unlocked something in my brain that I don't think has ever been unlocked from any other band, any other song I've ever listened to. And even if we, look at that song through like a queer lens, we can see the way in which queer people often feel in the church. I mean, literally, if I believe you, will that make it stop? And baby, we can talk about religious trauma and, oh my God, queerness in the Black church. Oh, geez. Which makes me want to go back to God Has Entered My Body. And I made that joke earlier about how it's hella gay and how the album title sounds hella gay. But in my opinion, I think it's incredibly smart. And I think it's incredibly ironic, which I think is the 1975, is this irony that people tend to overlook.